You ever wish you could silence your inner critic? You know, that voice that whispers you're not good enough, or even worse, you should be like someone else. I know that struggle only too well, and revisiting this subject today really hits home. But what if I told you that there is a way that you can turn that critical voice into one that actually lifts you up? Listen, I had that critical voice in my head for 25 years in a bad marriage. I'm 7 years out, and I'm going to share my secret method with you today. Simple and powerful, and it's going to stop negative self-talk in its tracks and help you get control of your thought life. Let's begin. The first step is to recognize that inner critic is not you. Your inner critic is just an overprotective parent, and it tells you things because it thinks it's protecting you, but really it's doing quite the opposite. It's holding you back. Imagine carrying a heavy backpack full of bricks. That's what self-doubt feels like. Wouldn't it be great to just remove that load altogether? Well, that's what we're going to do right now. Instead of believing those harsh words, know that it's just fear talking. And just because that thought pops into your brain does not mean it's true. And even more powerful is you can change that thought. You can stop that thought in its tracks, challenge it, and change direction altogether. It's no different than having your radio on a station that you don't like. It's negative and it's sad. You can change that radio station, just turn the dial. And that's exactly what we're going to do. In The Artist's Way, Julia Cameron calls the inner critic the censor. This is the book I'm talking about. It's a wonderful read. I'm going to link it for you. But what she does is she calls the inner critic the censor. It's that nasty voice in your brain that spews out harsh judgments disguised as truth. But there's one thing, it's not the truth. We are all victims of the censor at some point, but we don't have to listen to it. My key takeaway here, recognizing your inner critic is the first step to breaking free. The moment you realize that it's not you, it's just a fearful part of your brain trying to protect you, now you can start shifting your thoughts in a new direction. Now that you know how to recognize the inner critic, the next step would be learning how to shift your thoughts. To help you with this, I put together a reflection sheet. It's called How to Be Your Own Best Cheerleader. It's designed to help you start replacing negative self-talk with encouragement. You can grab it in the box below. Step 2 is replacing the inner critic with an inner coach. Would you talk to your best friend the way you talk to yourself? Probably not. So let's change that right now, right here. For example, every time you hear a negative thought going through your head, you're going to learn to stop it in its tracks and replace it with an encouraging or a more positive thought. And it's easy to do. One of the things that I used to tell myself, oh, I'm never going to get this right. Can you relate? So I replaced it with, you know what? I'm learning every day and I improve every single day. We can't know everything. How about my mind can't remember things? Replace that with, I do recall this, but I have to double check on my agenda and see exactly what it was. That's all you have to do. It isn't complicated. How about, I'm so dumb? I have said that to myself so many times. So instead, replace that with, you know, I have so much on my mind. Even computers need reminders. Another one I used to say a lot is, I just can't do that. Replace that with, let me go to YouTube and find a hack to replace this problem easy peasy. And you know what? I've done it. I bet you've done it too. So that's a true phrase that you can replace, I just can't do that with. The biggest game changers that I used was journaling all my self-criticism. Yeah, for real. I wanted to identify them so clearly that they wouldn't cross my mind again. I could stop it right there. Now, how do you shut that down? I'll show you how. Here comes Julia Cameron again with The Artist's Way. What she does is called the morning pages. It's a non-negotiable practice. The morning pages is every morning when you wake up, the first thing you do, I know your coffee, brush your teeth and all that stuff, but take a journal, and she calls the morning pages 3 pages of free-flowing thought. There's no rhyme or reason to it. There's nothing too dumb. There's nothing structured about it. You just write down. And what you're doing is you're purging all the negative things on a piece of paper. That's golden, because isn't it often that you wake up and the first thing you think of is the problem that you have to face in that day? Purge that. Put it on a piece of paper. And the other thing that happens is negative emotions come out too. I know that happened to me. So I took it a step further. I took those morning pages, and some of them were very hurtful and painful. I put them in a burning bowl and I lit them on fire. I burned them. That's a very strong metaphor of getting rid of negativity, let me tell you. I'm not telling you to do that, but I'm just sharing to you what I did with my dark thoughts in the morning. The thing about journaling your self-criticisms and getting the negative out is when you get the negative out, you've created space for something positive. And that's a really good thing. Journaling my self-criticisms was a game changer. And if you want a simple way to start shifting your mindset, I've created this guide, How to Be Your Own Best Cheerleader. It's a 1-pager. Don't forget to download it. I made it just for this particular video. So my key takeaway, replacing your inner critic takes practice. It's a non-negotiable, like the morning pages, but you can do it. But once you do that, your inner coach takes over, and positive encouragements come into your life, into your thought life. And that's a wonderful thing to wake up to every morning. You will start naturally speaking to yourself in a positive and encouraging and confident way. Your inner critic doesn't have to control your life. These are 2 simple but powerful steps that you can take today. It's inner work. Love yourself enough to do it. And if you need a little bit of help, don't forget to download the free guide I gave you, How to Be Your Own Best Cheerleader. If this resonated with you, like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for being here. See you in the next video.